Blessings and shalom. Welcome to this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining. This, of course, is the day that Yahweh has made, and as saints, we shall rejoice and we shall be glad in it. Please let me know whether you can see clearly and whether you can hear clearly. This has been long overdue, but of course we always work and only work by Yahweh's wisdom. I see that Facebook has updated now, so I'm going to have to be accustomed to this new display. You caught a treat already, huh? Shalom to all of you. Please let me know whether you can. Good, we're clear. Excellent. All right. I am overjoyed to have the release, I should say, from Yahweh to speak to this at this time. As you heard on Sunday, I would have done so. I should have done it yesterday, but I had a minor procedure done at a dentist, so I could not speak. Interestingly, so. But I'm here now. All right, and I am certainly overjoyed that you are joining me. While you're here, please ensure that you invite others. That those who do not receive notifications, if you're watching on the rebroadcast, I bid you shalom. And thank you so much for being. Jaleel, good to see you. Thank you for being here with me this evening. This as shalom. Shalom speaks of there being that peace, that assurance in your heart, that it is always well. And this evening or tonight, or whenever you're watching this broadcast, if you're new to as well, it is well. Alright, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that. It is well. It will always be well with the saints. Switch to Digicel? No, Denise. I don't know if I can take that risk at this time. Just let me know how it's flowing. I'm not the kind who would say I'm going to wait for numbers to build and all the rest of it, but I just want to ensure that we have a good enough stream so that you can hear clearly and you can see clearly, and then we can speak. As well as the fact that many people do not receive notifications that I'm live. So if you don't mind, please share this with them so they will know that I'm here. Alright? Now, as I said to you, I had a procedure, a minor surgery done at the dentist, so I'm not able to shout as I would normally do. So don't ask me to speak louder. Put your earphones in if you're not hearing me clearly, please. Good? Right, but I had to speak to you this evening because this is, as I said Sunday, this is something that, as Elihu said, this is like a wineskin, a new wineskin, getting ready to explode. That which is in me this evening. And you saw what it is speaking to. What have we done with wisdom? And the will to act. This is entirely about family here. And so, what I'm aware of, Diana and others, good to see you all. What I'm fully aware of is the fact or the truth that there are many families, many people who are saved in the true sense of the word, and who are still encountering severe crises in their homes. Many persons who, and it's a reality that you face, one is saved, as we call it, the other is not, and that in itself is causing shalom, extreme crises to arise in your family environment. What this evening's broadcast is about, Shalom Mama Ward, this broadcast is about, good. This broadcast is about your understanding or appreciating why, and then appreciating or applying how. For you to understand certain things in your life, and this is wisdom, of course, Yahweh has taken me there for whatever reason. I follow him as he leads. But many of your crises in your homes exist because of the absence or the failure to apply wisdom. The absence of or the failure to apply wisdom. Quincy, good to see you, sir. There are many things, and you can feel free to type, of course, as I'm conversing with you. There are many things for which you have sought repeated counsel because you lacked the will to apply wisdom. So many of you who view me right now, you repeat counsel because you do not have the will to apply wisdom. That's the first salient and critical point, and maybe the most important point that you'll hear for this night or this moment. You seek counsel because you are unwilling to apply wisdom. So the trick is this. The individuals or individual would know exactly what is required of them. But because they want to lay the responsibility at the feet of a counselor, they will go to seek counsel and then say, well, it's Apostle Nigel London or some pastor or some prophet, whoever else it is, my mother, my father, my friend, somebody advised me to do this. And they still don't act on it. Among the first things and most important thing that I'll speak to you about tonight, and it's threefold. In all of your lives, in all of our lives, we deal with this. And I begin with the first one. If you're single, this aspect is mainly for you. If you're married, it will help you to understand where you are right now. Especially ladies, and then I'll speak to the men. What did you invite? If I'm clear, please type that question to help somebody who may not be hearing well. What did you invite? Not who. And this will be a test that the broadcast is streaming well. What did you invite? If you hear me clearly and you type that question, that'll be a sign that we're doing well. Sister Mish, good to see you. Good. So type the question. What did you invite? Ah, great, Shanir. Thank you, Prophetess. We'll be good now. You'll hear me clearly. What you find happening in many occasions, and since we haven't dealt with this so long, most of you know that I have been involved in counseling, premarital counseling and everything else for more than, oh boy, it's been a while, more than 15 years or so. So this is not a novice who's addressing you here. And I'm speaking to you on the backdrop of so many things that I've encountered, especially with people who come to me before they married and we say, let's have a conversation, because it was once a requirement where I worked to counsel people before they married. It's actually a prerequisite in my book. I do not ever perform wedding ceremonies with people I don't talk to. You cannot just walk up to me and say, I want to get married to somebody, and then I say, okay, let's go, and give you, of course I do not deal with vows in those traditional ways. But Shalom Genesia, what did you invite? And I'll tell you what I'm speaking to here. What I found, and this happens, I don't mean to be offensive to you, but understand what I'm saying to you. This happens with older people. The more advanced a woman especially is in age, and she's unmarried, the worse she invites. Typically, this I'm talking about generally speaking. Because what she advertises is desperation, not standard. Then I'm made to sit in here This person is disrespecting me. My husband has no time for me. This man doesn't even pay attention to me. He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't care about how I feel. What did you invite? Apostle T, good to see you. Shalom, Apostle Thomas. What is it that you caused to come to you? And this is not about energy story I'm talking here. I don't deal with this Scientology nonsense. I'm speaking to you about the truth that when an individual, especially I'm saying to you from my experience way back, the older a lady gets and she is unwedded, the more she advertises desperation, not standard. Now, if you advertise desperation, more often than not, you will attract that which is way below your standard. Wisdom does not permit you to advertise desperation. Remember, we're speaking to family here, to relationship, to marriage and dating. Wisdom does not, never permits you to advertise desperation. Wisdom will always cause you to invite standard principles, which I must say to you that the vast majority of women, and I'm saying to men as well, but I'll do it to brothers in a minute, the vast majority of women that I've met, single and married in the church, despise Yahweh's principles when it comes to marriage. Mama James, is so good to see you. I'm happy that you're here. I'm glad the older women are joining us tonight, so they'll straighten younger ones and I'm through, or they know I'm telling the truth. The vast majority of women that I know as well do not like Yahweh's principles. Watch this. Most women in the church, in the faith as they describe themselves to be, love to hear about you're blessed, you're strong, you are a child of Yahweh, you're Yahweh's daughter, you are never going to fail, you are going to succeed, you're going to excel, you can make it. Watch this. The same people who shout at these things despise the truth about what is required of them in the kingdom. If I ask any older woman on this broadcast who counsels younger wives, you all tell the truth, how many of them willingly accept what the scripture states in reference to their position to their husband? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Now, there's a lag in the broadcast, but tell the truth. How many, you older women who counsel young women in church, and I know some of you, tell me, because I don't listen to what you tell them, but I want you to report tonight, just generally, how many younger women in the church are willing to accept Yahweh's standard, I'm talking about ultimate standard, when it comes to their position to their husband. Most young women I know despise the word of Yahweh that says, wives, obey your husband. That's why you don't invite principles. That's why you don't invite standards. That's why you do not invite righteousness. What you invite is somebody that you can get along with, not somebody you can submit to. Well, I hope you're hearing me. What you invite is someone that you can get along, who you can get along with, not someone to whom you will submit. And if you're young, you might as well hear me very clearly tonight if you're single. You can have a man with whom you get along, but your marriage is dysfunctional because you do not submit to him. You can have a woman with whom you get along, but your marriage is dysfunctional because she does not respect you in the way that Yahweh says you should respect you. One of the most uncomfortable expressions that I see in women in the church is when they hear the word of Yahweh. I'm telling you here, wives, obey your husbands. They talk in tongues, they follow, they holler, they say they love the Lord and they love Yeshua, but the minute those words come from the scripture, they get uncomfortable because they were never cultured to obey. They were cultured to agree with. Bless you, Lolo. So when your marriage is in crisis, and I said to you, brothers, be careful because I'm speaking to you in a minute. When your marriage is in crisis, it is not necessarily because you do not know what to do. No, it's because you don't like knowing what to do. Now tonight, or at this moment, wherever you are in the world, could be day for you. This broadcast is going to make you very uncomfortable, likely, or extremely pained, but you'll be delivered or free or healed, whatever it is you want to call it. But you need to endure this. You'll be all right. I can already sense how heavy this is, the potency of it, but you'll survive. You'll make it. What I've discovered is that it is not that you don't know what to do. No, the trouble is that you know what to do, and the knowledge that you have brings you discomfort. Because you were never cultured to obey. Now let me speak to you brothers in this first point, lest my sisters get a heart attack. Most of you young men, probably all of you that I know, in your desire to win or woo a single female, you create in them that which you cannot live with. You, not them. You, young men, create in them exactly what you cannot live with. And then you turn for them to be counseled or coerced or compelled to change. When you create what you cannot live with. When they are single and you want to get them to you, you want to win them, you want to marry them, whatever terminology you want to use, you want them to be a girl or a woman. You create what you can't live with. Because most of you young men have sought to do that which would make her agree with you to be with you. Sister Mish, then your husband was wicked. Bottom line. Most of you young men, most of you men in general, you do things to make a woman agree with you, be impressed that you are agreeable, rather than you are upright in reference to Yahweh's word. The number of single men in the church will be great if every one of them decide to stand by Yahweh's word. You ladies don't want them. Most of you. You need to have the standard, and I've learned this because I'm not ashamed of what I've been through. I told you before, my history is my history. That's what it is. I can do nothing but my history, and I praise Yahweh for taking me through it. But because I would have dealt with so many women in my lifetime, when I met my wife, I told girlfriend straight up, I would not be putting on a show just to get you, because I've done that long enough. I am going to be honest, straightforward with you. And if my being honest and straightforward with you, for example, I show up at your house and start washing all the dishes because I want to impress you, I don't wash dishes like that. I'm talking about what in reference to the conversation here. I don't get up every day to wash dishes in my house and all the rest of it. So I must say, come to your house to wash all the dishes to give you the impression that I do it. I am creating a false impression to impress someone who will then be depressed by my conduct later on. Shalom to you, sis. No. Most of the issues in your marriage today exist because your husband failed to establish principle when he met you. Most of them. If you're typing it, you can type this. Some of you may want to tell the truth, but I'm just saying in general from my experience as a counselor and what I've seen in the church. Most women marry who they expect him to be, not who he is. That's the absolute truth. Most women marry who they expect the man to be and not who he is. You type something else and I'm finished. Most single women I don't know, you end up getting married, you marry who you expect him to be, not who he is. You ready for this one? Type the next time because I'm speaking faster than typing. Because he advertises what you expect. I hope you get that. These young men advertise what you expect, not who they are. What did you invite? That's it, Pastor Mel. You marry to a promise to change. I will do better. I told you already. Any man who tells you I will do better, don't deal with him. Do not marry him. If he doesn't love you now and he says I will grow to love you, do not marry him until he does. So you sit there with all this wisdom and observe somebody who is not what you expect, not what you will live with, not what you stand for, not what you prepare to abide by, but you marry them based on what? If you're typing, type this. If you thank you, Apostle Thomas. I need you in this broadcast. Don't sleep now. If you forsake wisdom when you are single, and for some reason the scripture speaks to wisdom as she in Proverbs. If you forsake wisdom when you are single, Shalom, Sister Corey, it shall likely forsake you when you are married. Meaning, let me say it again. If you forsake wisdom when you are single, it will likely forsake you when you are married. Hence, you have some very stupid arguments in your house. Arguments that are nonsensical. They have no merit. They bear no fruit. They're just absolutely crazy and retarded. But you just keep having them. Why? Because your marriage was built on your forsaking wisdom as a single person. So therefore, in your home, wisdom promised you that in Proverbs. Wisdom said, I will laugh at you. I told you that. It's written in scripture. Now the good thing is, if you're a saint, Yahweh gives you wisdom, which is what is bearing fruit of my question. What have you done with what he gave to you? He has given it to you. The cause of fruitless and stupid arguments in marriages is because of your abandoning wisdom. Wisdom generates solutions, not strife. Wisdom generates solutions, not strife. If ever your marriage is filled with strife, someone is not functioning in wisdom. What did you invite? If you observe your marriage, and be absolutely honest with me, you don't have to type it, but just be honest wherever you are, or you're dating, your relationship, whatever it is. If you observe your interaction with somebody that you think you love, or you claim to love, or you feel you love, and in your interaction with this person, it is strife-filled, you are not in a union that's built on wisdom, or somebody is forsaking it. Thank you, Apostle Thomas. Yahweh gives wisdom. How can you have Yahweh's spirit? This is like a trumpet in my spirit all the time. How can you have Yahweh's spirit, the spirit of wisdom, and still you have so much strife? Thank you, Sister Corrine. Being in error is responsible for most of your failures because you were led, that's why I said you were cultured to disobey Yahweh. The fact you were told, listen, the Messiah's name is Jesus, you were trained to be disobedient to the truth. The fact you were told we celebrate Christmas to remember him, you were trained to disobey the truth. And then you think your marriage will function in principles of Yahweh? It would not. If your marriage is filled, your dating is filled, your courtship is filled with persistent arguments, I'm telling you that either both of you or one of you is abandoning wisdom. You either are doing it or one is doing it. And as long as you forsake wisdom, wisdom doesn't chase you. Wisdom is pursued. It doesn't pursue you. What did you invite? Young man, you may have invited. Thank you, Apostle T. Don't sleep, don't sleep. Rebels hate wisdom. Fools love folly. That's the truth. Young man, did you invite into your world that which was accessible, or who, I should say, was accessible, or did you invite who was worthy? Who did you invite? Who was accessible or who was worthy? The biggest mistake I'm about to announce, I call it misstep for saints, but mistake in the context of a conversation here, or the greatest dilemma that you can create for yourself in your life, or find yourself in a problem, is this. As a man, I know that you've listened to, many of you have watched various broadcasts, and you have all these marriage ministries and marriage, everything. Thank you, Apostle T. Don't sleep in a hurry like me. So you have all these marriage sessions and all these different things, and Oprah Winfrey becomes some counsel. Ellen DeGeneres is married to a woman, and some of y'all, she's your marriage guide because they inspire you, and all the rest of the garbage. So I'm saying, in essence, you've had enough. All right? You've had a lot of garbage spewed in your ear, and it propelled you into thinking you're qualified for marriage and that you could make it. One of the greatest things you can ever do, young man, in terms of error in your life, is believe in your heart that you can marry somebody because she is an asset to you, in the context that, oh, I'm marrying this person because she could help me. Take your time here. Rather than, I'm marrying this individual because she submits to Yahweh's truth. There's a big difference. Many of you find worth in assistance given to you rather than submission to Yahweh's word. Then whenever you try to apply Yahweh's word to your marriage, you're in trouble. Bless you, Brother E. I appreciate Yahweh for you all. You, since you know how much your honesty and your frankness help people. All you. When you are this bold and free, that's a sign of freedom, by the way. When you can just speak freely like this, you're good. So quite a few of you have got married to people who are accessible because it's not a great sweat. And then you rationalize to say, well, she could help me. Or he can help me, especially the man. Oh, she could help me. Help you? A woman's worth has nothing to do with what she could do for you. In the kingdom of heaven, it's not about what she does for you. It's about who she is in reference to Yahweh's word, Yahweh's purpose. The scripture says that you were called according to his purpose. Not what she could do for you. It's good when she can help you. It's wonderful when she can be there to support you in certain things, but never use that as a measuring stick. A woman can be very, very helpful in the context of life. She could cook, she can clean, she can do all the rest of it. She can take care of the children, take them to school, all that. But the minute you present the truth to her, she despises it. That is not an asset in your life. She's an absolute liability. Wrong broadcast, dear Ramdeen, or send a question to my page and I'll answer you. I don't entertain distractions at this moment. And the moment you type with Jesus, you're asking the wrong person, because Jesus is absolute European garbage. So find another broadcast for that. When you as a man believe that you can simply find somebody who helps you, I'm talking to the church here, and you do not pay attention to what is our position in reference to Yahweh's word, I promise you'll be in trouble whenever the truth comes out. Whenever you, at some point in your marriage, you will face the word, because that's how you're supposed to live. And once the word begins to come alive in your home, you will encounter somebody who is helpful, but disobedient to the truth. Helpful to you, but resentful to the truth. My wife's worth to me has nothing to do with what she could do for me. It has everything to do with what is her position in reference to Yahweh's word. If you are against Yahweh's word, you are of no value to me. Can you live by that standard? I told you all women, it's a bit too high for most of you to live by. You must be able to live by Yahweh's word. What did you invite? Young man, did you invite disrespect and now you're demanding it? Did you? Why is it now an issue? When you were dating, you told her she's free, let's talk. That's what you said. You advertise accessibility to your ear. You told her she's free to talk to you. Okay, so what's the issue now when she's talking? You told her that you must have a relationship whereby you can both express yourself freely. So what's the problem now? She's doing exactly what you advertised. What did you invite? You invited freedom of expression. And now you want to suppress it? Because it's your wife? And because you call husband? Did you invite disrespect? In the manner where you made a single woman feel when you wanted to be with her that she's free to say anything to you in any manner she wills. Now there's a difference. You are free to say how you feel, but honor will never permit you to say it in any old manner. Please type this, please, for those of you who are hearing impaired. Please, and who remember better when they type. An honorable woman shall respect you when she's single. Always remember that one. An honorable woman or a respectful woman shall respect you when she's single. She wouldn't say, well, when I become your wife, then I'll show you respect. Don't marry her. Do not marry her. Please share this broadcast if you can, because somebody needs to hear it. I'm talking among the saints. Do not marry her. A respectful woman shall respect you when she is single, because respect is who she is. If she tells you, when I marry you or when you marry me, then I respect you, do not marry her. Some of you men can't even live with that. What did you invite? She may want to respect her husband because of a position, not you because of a person. So she wants to be called Mrs. whatever and Mrs. whatever. So she claims, I'll respect my husband because the person who you are is not who she respects. And some of you young men were willing to accept that because after all, you just want to have this girl. Her body is so good, or whatever it is. You know the reasons why you do things you do. And that's the focal point of my discussion. What did you invite? As a man, did you invite the disrespect? If you refuse to address wrongdoing when you're single, I always tell you, she will have an issue with your doing it when you're married. All right, this one is a big one. And I see most of my daughters in the broadcast. And my sons, maybe they're under sheet covering at this moment. No, you wouldn't do that. This is a big one. I'm speaking to you men, but ladies, type for them to hear it, because most of you don't have an issue with this. The men, I don't know why the men have a problem with this. But ladies, you can type for the brothers to hear. Or the brothers, you can save yourself by typing for yourself too. I'm speaking to the men. Never accept or make a woman feel as though she is your head. Never do it. Never give her the impression, never give her the freedom to think that she can do it. Under any circumstance. Never make a woman feel that she's your head. Never do it. Do not do it. You are harming her if you make her believe that she's your head. It is destructive. Even if your sexual drive is so high and you just have to get it, and at all cost, you prepare to become the submissive creature, and she could tell you what she wants, don't do it, brothers. I'm telling you, do not do it. Never make a woman believe that she's your head. Under no circumstance. And you don't have to be forceful about it. Yahweh has empowered you men to lead. And you hear it all the time. You are fully equipped but if you abandon wisdom, you shall make someone who was created to follow you lead you, and then think your marriage will succeed. The next thing is, after considering what did you invite, of course we'll have more of these sessions. The second thing is, what did you entertain? What did you receive, in essence? Are we still there? Alright, tell me feedback. I know we had a glitch, and tell me the last thing you heard. Are we back? I'll try my Digicel service after all. I switched to Digicel. I realized that me have had a glitch. Just let me know if we're back. Now, praise GT in too early it seems. Good. What did you entertain? What did you receive? Because even if you invite something, wisdom would make you realize, hey, I can't receive this. That's where repentance comes in. You may have attracted it, and then wisdom kicked in and said, stop. And you are able to address that and say, no, I don't want to be this anymore. You get that? You may have invited something. Okay, thank you, Ken. And then when it came to you, wisdom kicked in and you said, I'm not dealing with this. Those are wise people. A wise person understands that they are willing or they are able to, before a lifelong commitment, say, I am not going to entertain this even though I advertised it. And you walk away from it. Or you make allow the person to change before you receive them again. What are you entertaining now? What are you receiving now that you are causing wisdom to suffer for? Good to see you, Abiola. Shalom. You should never in your life entertain disrespect. This must be the number one issue among saints, married people. That I don't know what it would take for some of you to understand this. As a saint, never entertain disrespect. Do not do it. Disrespect must always be intolerable. You never understand disrespect. Never tell yourself you can understand somebody disrespecting you. You know why they disrespected you. You can justify it in your mind to accept it. Never, as a saint, entertain disrespect. I'm speaking to saints. If the two of you are saints, disrespect should never be a part of your relationship. What the trouble? Many of you will entertain it. Watch this. Because you do not want to lose the person doing it. If I could only help half of you tonight. Many of you will entertain disrespect so that you can retain the person disrespecting you. And that sounds like wisdom to you. You believe because you for whatever reason, like I said, most is physical anyway. You like the physical part of your marriage, you like sex, or you like the person's body, whatever it is. Okay, good. So you like that. So in your mind, you will entertain disrespect so you can retain the person who's disrespecting you. To the brothers I say, that a wise man never accepts dishonor. Never. It doesn't matter how beautiful his wife or his woman is. A wise man will never accept dishonor. And the second thing is that a wise man will always be repulsed by dishonor. You will never be attractive to him. And I must expound on this because I've dealt with it on numerous occasions and I believe that I'm able to speak to it with great wisdom tonight. Thank you, Brother E, for reminding us. Never make a woman think you're afraid of losing her. She must understand you're prepared to lose her based on certain principles. Some of you, I'm convinced, do not even realize what dishonor really is. That's the truth. You think it has to be extreme, the person cuss you by your mother or tell you stupid, call you a dog, call you a fool, and then you say, oh, you're disrespecting me. No. I will show you, ladies, and hopefully tonight I'm going to give you a clean slate. You don't know, so now I'm going to begin to teach you it, especially my daughters. You can't see that you didn't know. And most of you know this, but I'm going to teach you it tonight. So that if you try it, you would not be able to give the excuse that you didn't know. Most of you don't realize that respect for your husband, respect for your man, I'm starting with you females, respect for your man, respect for your husband is last manifested through words. That's the last stage. Whenever you begin to say things to him that are disrespectful, you're already gone over the cliff. Disrespect for your husband is last manifested through words. Let me start with the end and then come to the beginning. The last stage is when you begin to say things to him that are disrespectful. That's when you've gone over the cliff. You'll have to give me a constant internet check now because my broadcast is just crazy. Please help me if you can. Let somebody check this stream. Let someone check the stream, please. Check the quality of the broadcast. Disrespect for your husband is last manifested through words. If ever a woman, write this, anybody, male or female, whenever your spouse speaks to you in a disrespectful manner, they have already done it up here for a very long time. The first stage of disrespect is mental. It's up here. It begins here. If a woman or a man begins to see you differently up here, it's just a matter of time before they begin to say things to you differently through their mouth. They already had it in here. And they saw no reason to honor you. What this? Up here. And because they saw no reason to honor you in their mind, they began to dishonor you in their mouth or with their mouth. A spouse who honors you in their mind will never dishonor you with their mouth. So I'll begin to address some of the areas you can discern whether your spouse disrespects you here. Number one, how do they react to that which you honor? Whatever it is. Whatever it is. If you tell them that you honor, for example, Yahweh's word, how do they react to that? How? How do they react to who you honor? Some of you have spouses who despise your leader spiritually and still tell you that they love and respect you. Impossible. Don't be stupid. Wisdom will not permit you to think along those lines. Anybody who honors you will never dishonor who you honor. Do not be foolish. If your spouse knows how highly you hold, because the church is called the pillar and the support of truth. If your spouse knows how highly you hold the truth in reference to Yahweh's word, why are they so flippant about it? Why do they not care about it? Why do they treat you as though Yahweh's word is garbage and they don't have to respect it? But then turn around and say they respect you and they love you. You feel special. They love you, they respect you, they honor you, but they have no issue dishonoring your spiritual leaders. But they love you though, and they're crazy about you. And the men of Yahweh and women of Yahweh whom you honor and who you hold in such high esteem, they could talk anything about in the house and make all kinds of false accusations, and you feel special. How do they react to whom you honor? This is a big one. This one is type worthy. Does your spouse or your boy or your man announce distrust? And this is a challenge for most people. You would not honor somebody you do not trust. Stop the foolishness. It is it is just garbage. Do they announce distrust? Do they display it to you? I have told you all, and some of you may think it's a joke I'm making. I do not ever. I've been married for 20 years, I think now. It's been so long. 21 just about. I do not check my wife's phone for what? To see what? I don't ask my wife, where were you? Why you took so long to come back? For what? As the man in my home, and this may help some of you young men, the sign that she respects me would be her reporting to me. In the context of, I was here because she knows, okay, then she may have been out longer than she expected to be, or she can call or text, say, okay, then I'm running late, I'm here. That's honor. I cannot fathom how some of you young men have to go checking your wife phone when she's sleeping, opening the phone to see what? To find what? It is a form of dishonor. You will never respect somebody that you do not trust. And since we're speaking to wisdom, wisdom is very harsh. That's why many people don't like her. Wisdom is a very, very harsh person described in Proverbs. Wisdom is savage. Wisdom said, I watch you die. You young men, I observe you and see you're stupid and you go to your death. And wisdom never stopped him. Wisdom doesn't play. Some of y'all like, but you ask for wisdom, you don't want it. Not wisdom from scripture in terms of what Yahweh describes it to be. If your husband does not trust you, he does not respect you. Do not buy that foolishness from him, man. Anyone who say that, you look up to Apostle Nigel London, don't tell him my does that nonsense. Stop it. If you cannot trust your wife, you do not respect her. Bottom line. Because honor speaks to having high expectation. That's what honor is. Honor means I have positioned you in my mind in such a lofty place that I have no need to question your integrity. The minute I question your integrity, I've dishonored you. So stop the foolishness. See, you got me talking hard and I'm supposed to be shouting at this time. But this gets to me. There's nothing more disquieting than this nonsense. Sister May, she must be joking. Distrust is an announcement of dishonor. Are you getting that? If you view your spouse, you view your boyfriend, whoever it is, in a particular light, you see them in a certain way, what would make you question their integrity? What? I always tell you about my father. I honor my father. Errol London, I honor him. My brothers in the faith, I honor them. I don't ask them certain questions. Apostle Thomas, Apostle Bissoon, Apostle Branham, Apostle Lambert, my brothers, my sons. None of them could tell you in this broadcast I ever went to them and asked them something about this, as if I don't trust them. For what? I will never go to Apostle Thomas and say to him, oh, I heard this room in Linden, people saying this about you, and I just came to find out your side of the story. The minute I do that, I've announced dishonor for my brother. Elton is asking a question. Does trust extend to areas where one may be advising or helping a spouse or partner in some endeavor? Yes, it does extend to that as well. You have to trust each other. You have to trust each other's ability. And in that case, you have to trust each other's honesty, which we'll get to. And I'm happy to touch on that point. We'll get to that in a minute. So this is about character, trust, and talk in this part, Elton. So you may, if you trust somebody, you trust the person. I'm talking about integrity here. So you don't question certain things about people. All of my daughters on this broadcast who watch me tonight, there's none of you can tell you that I've ever called you and say, somebody said this about you, I want to know if it's true. None of them. Not one of my daughters on this broadcast could tell you I've ever, in the years of them knowing me, even spiritually, I've ever once said, I've heard a rumor about you, come and tell me that's about it. For what? Because I have respect for my children. I don't ask you what, tell me what, if it's true, or so many people saying this, I want to hear that. For what? I defend the integrity of my children. I do not question it. I defend it. And no one risks coming to me to give me some stupid report about my children. I understand, Brother E. So what are you entertaining? Are you entertaining disrespect? Because you want to retain the person disrespecting you? And brothers, most of you have this challenge, and I'm happy Brother Elton asked a question about it. You and your spouse may be involved in some project you're doing, something, maybe some business or whatever it is. Remember this. Somebody who gives you their view on a matter doesn't necessarily mean they're disrespecting you. It's not one who disrespects you. It could be because of the respect they have for you, they're offering their view on something you're doing. That is not dishonor. And disagreement is not dishonor either. Remember I said to you that the person up here is where the dishonor begins, in the mind. So whenever somebody dishonors you, they will never speak to you as though they expect much of you. And that's what you have to be. That's how wisdom guides you to discern it. Because some of your spouses may never call you stupid. They may never call you idiots. No, but what they will do is they'll question the simplest of things that you do to make you believe that you're stupid. You get that? I know most of you do. And they treat you as though you are a 2-year-old. Watch this. Some of you experienced this before. You don't have to say it publicly, but I'm telling you what you may be living in now. If you have to go to the store to buy something, that spouse will search first online. What's the cost? $20? They give you $20. They won't give you a $50 bill. That's distrust, and that is disrespect. Or they'll order it online and tell you go pick it up. Disrespect. They do not trust you with their finances. Now it could be because of your bad behavior, but I'm just saying to use disrespect anyway. It's dishonor. And you're still present. And still feel special because of what they say, not realizing what they do to you. If you're on the phone and your spouse always has to pass to see who you're talking to, that is dishonor. They do not trust the fact that you can be on the phone and not be doing something. Final point, and then we pick this up in another broadcast. I may be back with you before the week is over, because I know that it's been a while and we need this. All right? It can be controlled. That's right, Sister Mish. And anyone who has to control you is somebody who doesn't trust you. That's it, Pastor Mel. So what are you entertaining? Some of you do not even realize distrust. What's this? You see it as interest. And that's catastrophic. That's huge right there. Some of you, because of you are not trained by wise people, you are made to think that distrust is interest. Oh wow, he really has an interest in me. No, he doesn't. He doesn't trust you. She doesn't have an interest in this excessive interest. No, they do not trust you. Wow, Diana, exactly. Now you have to understand that they do not trust you. And you labeling as interest. Not realizing that it's control because of a lack of trust. Any person who is controlling is distrusting. What this one? If you're in bed with your spouse, of course you have to be married. I'm talking to church. You're in bed with your spouse. You get up to go outside maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever else it is. And you may sit to have a cup of tea because you couldn't sleep, so you're up. Pay attention to the manner in which your spouse comes up to find you. Somebody says signal is going. You're in the same house. You may get out of bed because you do not sleep through the night. For whatever reason, you go out of the bedroom, outside. And you have to pay attention to the manner in which the spouse comes looking for you, if they do. You're not approached with baby, pumpkin, babe, baba, whatever they call you. Are you okay? Is everything all right? No. You're approached with, what are you doing out here? Why are you outside? I know some of you are getting it already. So you think it's interest, but do you hear the difference? It is not, is everything all right? And you can genuinely, because you're a child of Yahweh, you can sense, you can discern when distrust is present. They approach you with an expectation of wrongdoing, not interest in what you're doing. They're looking to see, what is this person doing in this hour? What act can I catch them in? You know why? Because the distrust is here already. Distrust can be a learned behavior, and as I said, Sister Corrine, that most people were cultured in the erroneous church to not have trust, to not have proper principles in marriage. I've heard people in the Jesus nonsense tell you that, listen, ladies, find your man and check on your man and know where your man is and smell your man's shirt and smell. For what? So you got these private investigators in the home as a wife. Yahweh has given you wisdom, and if you heed the counsel of wisdom, you will also discern dishonor if it's present, because wisdom helps you to see that. If your spouse has the habit, which is my habit, all of us don't, of coming to you with money whenever they paid, because okay, your wife may manage the house, your husband never has it. Okay, you give them a paycheck, you give them this paycheck, you give them the paycheck or the money. One day you present it and the spouse says, this is all that you got. What does that tell you? If you always give them all, one day it seems to be less and they ask you, is this all that you got? What does that announce to you? See how wisdom works? Immediately you would know that there's some distrust in the room. Because a trusting person may have asked, did you realize that it paid you less? Or what did your pay get cut for? They're not suggesting to you that you took the money out. This is huge as well. A spouse who does not trust you with finances, in terms of thinking that you would steal money from them, is someone who classifies you at the lowest scale of honor. If you don't type it, it's all right. But if you want to be honest tonight, some of you, you will now understand why your husband or your wife treats you the way they do. Anybody who doesn't trust you with money has you classified at the lowest level of honor because they think you're a thief. And I've never seen a thief be honored. If they have to have a secret bank account from you, they have to hide money from you, they have to put money where you don't know where it is, just because they want to save it, that person has you at the lowest level of honor. If they lie to you about what's on the bank account, you don't know what the balance is in the family, I am telling you, experience will teach you this in a while if you don't listen to me now. They have classified you at the lowest tier of honor. They see you as a thief. And I've never seen a thief being honored. Is that what you entertain? Is that what you receive? As a man, you're seeking to negotiate and plead with your wife to please tell you and trust you with money? Or as a wife, you try your best to convince your husband that you're not a thief? Do you understand what I'm saying to you as saints here? I'm not talking to sinners tonight. I'm talking to saints. I'm speaking to saints. Do you understand as a saint what is happening in your house if you have to be trying to convince your spouse that you're not a thief? Are you understanding what I'm saying to you all? I will close this broadcast and give you 2 or 3 nights before I return. Maybe on Friday, we're willing to do another session. But I will close this broadcast with an announcement that my wife should be well aware of, but I want you to hear it from my principle by which I live my life. If I ever discover me, now this is not for you, I'm just announcing because I'm always talking to you here. If I ever discover that girlfriend, as I call her, has some secret bank account where she siphons off money and hides it in some bank account somewhere that I know nothing of, the day I discover that is the day we finished. Because you must be making preparation for a life outside of me. I don't play that game. And if my wife discovers that I have some secret account somewhere that I'm seeking to build a financial empire with, unbeknownst to her, she should leave me immediately. Because it is an announcement to both of us that we are preparing to survive financially without the help or involvement of the other. You don't deserve to be in my life. If we are two saints, we must have the grace, and the scripture says that you must not have evil suspicions of one another. That's what the book says. I didn't say that. I tell you, you don't like Yahweh's word, do you? You must not have evil suspicions. How could you be my wife or I be your husband and I suspect that you're a thief? If we have a financial challenge and we both save people, we shouldn't have it in the first place. That's why I told you all. If your house is governed by wisdom, you never have financial challenges. Never. In terms of money wars. You may have a little money to do less than you want to do at the time, but you will never have no money. I have never met a wise person who's broke. Never. That's a whole nother topic. Because wisdom teaches you to do things with your hand. Wisdom does not endorse laziness. Wisdom will always make you excel in an area. That will always make you live. And that's a whole big one for Sunday probably. But at this forum I'm telling you, if you are both saints, you must always have wisdom functioning to the extent whereby you can speak and solve any issue. But you'll never be to a place whereby you've got to sneak and duck and hide where money is concerned. No. So with that, this has been a while, and I don't want to give you too much at one time. I thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that when we meet again, we can pick up from this aspect of what have you entertained. Because the next one we're going to speak about is what are you living with in terms of consequences. So we'll talk about that on Friday, Yahweh willing or so. Alright? So thank you so much. I bid you all shalom. Apostle Thomas, thank you for laboring with me and for tarrying with me tonight. I needed you right here. Perfect person. I bid you all shalom. Thank all of you for your input, Pastor Mel and others. All of you who would have even asked questions. I appreciate this. And I hope that with this session we've done, you will in some way, especially younger ones, be able to function in a better manner in your homes. You older ones as well. Try your best to have the will to act in reference to what wisdom teaches you. I bid you all shalom and do well. Rest well if you are in the time zone where it's now the night, or have a good day if you are in a time zone where it's day, like in Sister Petal's case where day is about dawning now. Shalom to all of you. Grace and shalom. Do well, saints. Bye-bye. Amen. Thank you, Apostle. Thank you, Mama J. Blessings to you all.